Impacting Humanity in Imperfection. I am Patrick Maidoh, and I wear so many hats. I'm a UK-based consultant by profession, and I'm also a life coach, a public speaker, and an author of the best-selling novels, The Protagonist, A Tale of Two Halves. I'll be drawing life lessons from my intriguing and captivating novel, The Protagonist, A Tale of Two Halves, first edition and second edition. So we'll delve into it, draw life lessons from the book or the novel, and then we'll relate it to our day-to-day life and see how we can impact humanity. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned and follow me on this journey. It's going to be an exhilarating ride.
And this is a lesson, a life lesson from me to parents or guardians. So, because I see this scenario play out over and over and over again, be it with parents, with guardians, with people who have responsibility over young adults, and even in government. I see with governments, and it's quite laughable as well. So why was Remy's behavior such an issue? Okay, it was because, I believe it was because there was a deeper issue than just the tantrums, just the belligerence, or just the rebellion. There was a deeper issue, and we have to unravel this when dealing with young adults. In the first video, we discussed identifying the root cause and dealing with it rather than dealing with the symptoms. But today, what I want us to do is we're going to delve deeper into it, looking at a root cause analysis. In my last video, we started to build a foundation, and the foundation was about dealing with the root cause rather than the symptoms. We discovered that dealing with the symptoms or symptom would be like scratching the surface rather than delving into what's causing the issue and dealing with it head on. Okay, if we don't address the root cause, it starts to fester, it starts to grow tentacles, and it starts to permeate into various facets of society, and that becomes a problem. And I believe that probably that's where we are in most societies, where we've left or allowed the root cause fester for too long, and it's grown into a big beast, and now we're chasing our tails.
Remy has found his relevance now, albeit in the wrong place. He's found his relevance as the supreme leader, the kingpin of the BNM. Okay, and he was basking in it because that was where he found his relevance, and he tried to bring in reforms and rejig the structure, make it fit for purpose, albeit in the wrong place. It made me realize that going through Remy's profile, looking at the novel, Remy's relevance, his quest for relevance, was the need for him to be a leader. He was a born leader, a leader of men, a servant leader. But yet his circumstances when he was a lot younger did not mirror this. It did not reflect this. Don't forget, he was the last but one child. He was like a spare wheel. He was a non-entity. He wasn't recognized in the immediate family and the larger society. He was just there. That did not speak to the leadership in him, because he knew he was a leader. That was his quest, his relevance, where Remy found himself. And that's where you get to that point where there is an overload of restlessness, and then frustration sets in. Frustration. I've had a bit of frustration in my life, and I know what it feels like. Frustration is when you're responding to an opposition. So there's somewhere you need to get to in order to get your self-fulfillment, the fulfillment of self. But there's an opposition there, and you're struggling and trying to break through the opposition, and it's not happening. It happens to everyone, and you get frustrated, so frustrated, and you start to see the symptoms will now start to manifest. The symptoms will now start to blossom because the frustration takes hold of you. Last week, we explored the various stages. When we were doing the root cause analysis, we looked at the restlessness stage and the frustration stage. So this week we're going to carry on, but we'll be looking at the desperation and the full-blown stage. In the search for relevance, which we're all looking for, by the way, in the search for relevance, life will throw you curveballs, and big curveballs, to be honest with you. There are some curveballs that you would receive that you struggle to deal with. In fact, you can't even chest it. It's a struggle. There will be twists and turns in your life. There will be crossroads where you would not know whether to turn left or right or stay in the middle. So it's going to happen, and decisions would need to be made. And that's why it's important. I think it's extremely important, especially for the young adults, that you are surrounded by wise counsel and ultimately by God, because decisions will be made, and more often than not, we would make the wrong decisions because you're being buffeted by so many things. So it's important to make the right decisions, but hey ho, we do make the wrong decisions because the root cause has been there. It's festered for too long. It's grown into a beast with its tentacle. We see the full-blown symptoms in things like, we see prostitution and promiscuity in the land. We see the full-blown symptoms like kidnapping, advanced fee fraud amongst young adults. We see murder. We see gun and knife crimes. We start hearing of things we never heard of before. Very heinous and very awesome crime, criminality being committed, and it goes on, and the list just goes on and on. That was not the plan. I tell you, that was not the plan. That was definitely not the plan. But we are where we are, yet we are chasing symptoms rather than dealing with the root cause. So welcome to Impacting Humanity in Imperfection. We'll continue on the journey of root cause analysis, but today we'll be looking at a nation or nations, but using the UK as a case study. I remember I started writing an article in 2018 entitled Let Our Children Live. I never finished that article because it just grew legs, tentacles. Too many things were coming out. And I think I started writing that article because I was aggrieved. The gun crime or crimes, the knife crimes, the criminality on the streets of the UK, it was just heartbreaking. Every time you turn on the TV, one fatality or another. What broke my heart, and I started writing that article, was the sight of a mother, going on her knees on the streets where her son had been murdered to wipe the blood of her son off the pavement. I sat there watching this and I was heartbroken. And I'm heartbroken. No mom, no mother should ever do that. But guess what? The UK government, in a knee-jerk reaction, started tackling the symptoms rather than the root causes. What did they do? They put more bobbies on the streets, more policemen. They increased ASBOs, the antisocial behavior orders. They increased it. They increased the stop and search in order to bother more black young ethnic minority. And they played politics with this very serious matter, this issue of criminality, gun crimes, and knife crimes. They played. Today, we're going to continue on the root cause analysis, but looking at nations and using the UK as a case study. Okay, so we will be discussing the root cause analysis again. Okay, last video, I mentioned 3 key root causes that I wanted to deal with. And the one we're going to look at today is the breakdown in the core formative family unit. If you recognize, I have used core and formative deliberately in my explanation or wanting to explain this root cause, and it's for a deliberate reason. If we look at core, the word core, what does that really mean? It means the center. It means the foundation. It is the integral part of something. So it's that core, the formation. So we're still on the journey of root cause analysis, and we are using the UK as a case study. Last video, I looked at one of the root causes, which is the breakdown in the core formative family unit. So today, we will be looking at the absence of community upbringing, which is sadly missing in the UK. I grew up in Nigeria, and in Nigeria and Africa, generally, children are brought up collectively. It's a community effort, not a single family unit effort. So children are brought up collectively, especially during that the formative years of their life. I can't begin to count the number of slaps and chastisement I received when I was growing up from people I don't even know. I didn't know who they were. And far be it from me to now go home and tell my parents that I got disciplined by a total stranger or someone I didn't know, because the question that they would ask would be, what did you do? The society degrade, and we see that society just go awry because nobody cares. I'll give you another example, and this really, really, really upsets me. Again, this was many years ago. I suspect it was in the year 1999 or 2000. I went out with a friend. We're painting the town red, and we wanted to go into a shop to buy drinks. And a young chap, not older than 14, 15 at most, approached us and wanted my friend to help him buy a pack of cigarettes from the shop because he couldn't buy it because of his age. And my friend was about to take the money off this chap to go buy the cigarettes. And I said to him, my friend, what are you doing? And he said, I won't buy a cigarette for him now. I said, don't you see he's underage? And my friend said to me, waiting concern me. Am I picking? Is he my son? And that just encapsulates what I'm talking about. No one cares. There's no collective, there's no community upbringing anymore.